It's Mom again. It's the 7th night of Hanukkah, and we're continuing with the tradition of me reading a story to my children, Carolyn, Alyssa, Stephen, Jonathan, and Tori. Tonight's book, we're not going to read the whole book, but it's called The Complete Family Guide to Jewish Holidays by Dahlia Hardorf Renberg. I'm going to read about women and Hanukkah, and it's this little section here with a little bit more there. We're going to learn about some interesting women in the time of the rededication of the temple. Hanukkah folklore includes legends about heroic women. The two best known who have been featured in plays and operas are Judith and Hannah. Judith and Holofernes, a general from Asia Minor, was leading his army through Judea on the way to fight Egypt when they came to a town called Bethulia. They besieged it. After the water supply dwindled, the town's leaders contemplated surrender. Judith, a beautiful widow, decided to try to help her townspeople. With the permission of Bethulia's elders, she sneaked out of the town and went to Holofernes' camp. When the general met Judith, he fell in love with her. One night she served him a salty cheese, which she had brought with her. The cheese made him so thirsty that he drank a lot of wine. When he fell asleep in a stupor, Judith took his sword and cut his head off. As soon as his soldiers realized that he was dead, they became demoralized and fled. The siege was over. There are a few other versions of the story of Judith and Holofernes, but all are believed to be fictitious, although there was an actual prince by the name of Holofernes, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, who lived many years before the Maccabees and who fought the Egyptians in 352 BCE. Modern scholars believe that the story, which is part of the Apocrypha, was written during the Hasmonean period in order to inspire courage among the rebels. Ever since, it has been associated with Hanukkah. The legend of Judith and Holofernes influenced many artists throughout history and led to many paintings, sculptures, musical compositions, and plays. It also influenced the custom of eating cheese dishes on Hanukkah. So that's why we eat cheese dishes. The next story is about Hannah and her 7 sons. The second book of Maccabees tells the story of 7 sons who were ordered by King Antiochus Epiphanes, the Greek ruler of Judea at the time of the Maccabees, to participate in a pagan ceremony which included eating pig's flesh and accepting the king's divinity. Fortified by her strong religious conviction, which she had instilled in her children, the mother encouraged them to refuse. Although threatened with death, one by one they were tortured and killed in front of her. After the death of the youngest, a child only 3 years old, the mother collapsed on the bodies of her children and died from grief. There are, however, 2 other versions of the ending. In one, she throws herself on the fire of the ceremonial altar. In the second, she throws herself from a roof. The name of this heroic woman is surrounded with mystery. While the book of Maccabees does not identify her, later rabbinical writings gave her the name as Miriam. The name Hannah was given to her even later, in the 16th century, by a Spanish Jewish scholar. He named her after the mother of the prophet Samuel on the basis of a verse in the first book of Samuel 2:5. While the barren has borne 7, she that had many children has languished. The story of these and other women who, according to tradition, participated in the Maccabees' rebellion led to customs pertaining to women only. In some Sephardic communities, women do not work on the first and last days of the holiday. In others, women do not work simply during the time that the Hanukkah lights are burning. Some Sephardic women also had special, quote, for women only celebrations. On the 7th night, which is tonight is the 7th night of Hanukkah, women of all ages would gather, drink wine, eat foods made out of cheese in memory of Judith, and sing and dance. And that's the story of women in the Bible about or around Hanukkah. Okay, kind of heavy stories. So we're going to return to our Hanukkah trivia book. And Tori, let's see how you do. We're on question 13. What wedding custom did Antiochus mandate? Wedding custom. A, all party napkins must include his name. B, he would not allow wine at the wedding feast. C, he claimed the privilege of the first night with the bride. Ooh. D, he required pork to be served at the feast. I wonder which one it is. I don't know. Tori, what do you think?
C, really?
Yes! Isn't that amazing? He claimed the privilege of the first night with the bride. Ugh. Jewish brides were told to spend their wedding night with the governor or his officers before going to their husbands. Consequently, the Jews declined to wed for more than 3 years. Pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
14. An elderly priest in the little town of Modin, northwest of Jerusalem, began a revolt in 168 BC. When he refused to obey the demands of Antiochus IV, the priest killed a royal officer and a Jew who complied with the demands. What was the name of the priest? A, Mattathias. B, Judas. C, Eleazar. D, Solomon. And the answer is
A?
A, very good, Mattathias.
Never guessed that.
A member of the Hasmonean dynasty, Mattathias, his 5 sons, and a number of faithful Jews fled into the mountains and began the revolt against the armies of Antiochus. Mattathias died the following year, leaving his 3rd son, Judas, in command. Judas the Hammer. 15. Judas, Mattathias' son, is known as Judas Maccabee because Maccabee means A, he was sponsored by the Maccabee Athletic Shoe Company. B, Maccabee was the village where Judas was born. C, the lion. Or D, the hammer. Which one is it?
D?
Yes, very good. And you didn't even need a hint for that one because I just gave you the answer a little bit ago. Okay, D, the hammer. Scholars believe that the nickname Maccabee comes from the Hebrew word for hammer, and that it refers to the hammer-like tactics Judas used in battle. Others say the hammer refers to the shape of his head. Some say it means quencher, as in one who quenched Hellenism. Regardless of the name, Maccabee refers to the dynasty that led the revolt. The history of Maccabee is preserved in 4 books of the Apocrypha. Okay, 16. Who were the brothers of Judas Maccabee? A, Jonathan, Simon, Eleazar, and Johanan. B, Myron, Marvin, Moses, and Mel. C, Uriah, Jacob, Joseph, and Joshua. C, or D, Cain and Abel.
A?
Very good. You got that one right. Jonathan, Simon, Eleazar, and Johanan. Johanan. 17. According to legend, who was the sister of Judas and what did she do at her wedding? A, Bathsheba seduced David. B, Hannah stripped naked. C, Uhura called Starfleet to command. D, Salome danced wearing 7 veils. We just read about her.
Yeah,
Very good. Hannah stripped naked. Hannah, rather than submitting to the governor on her wedding night, Hannah stripped naked at the wedding feast, shocking the people into avenging the sacrilege and humiliation of the daughters of Israel. Medieval manuscripts include this version of the way the war started. These rebellious women. My. What are you going to do? 2 more questions. 19. What was the rallying cry of Mattathias as he and his followers fled to the mountains? A, don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. B, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. C, who is for the Lord, follow me. Or D, the Lord's name be praised.
D.
What number am I on? Oh, Actually, who is for the Lord, follow me. 1 Maccabees 2:27. We would have to read the Apocrypha to get that. Okay. Number 20, last one for the night. What animal was part of the army in the War of Independence fought by the Maccabees? A, warrior elephants. Oh. B, spitting camels. C, tamed tigers. Or D, attack dogs.
C?
B, very good. Warrior elephants. You have to think about where they
I
existed.
thought the elephants was A.
Elephants is A.
You said B.
I said B. Oh, it's a typo. It's actually A, warrior elephants. Here it says B, warrior elephants, but B is spitting camels. It's not spitting camels, it's the warrior elephants. Several dozen elephants, compared to modern day tanks, fought on the losing side. There you go. So that's our Hanukkah trivia for tonight. We learned some interesting things, and we learned about some very important women in history around Hanukkah, about Judith and Hannah or Miriam. And I hope that you enjoyed this evening as we celebrated the 7th night of Hanukkah, the night to celebrate women during Hanukkah. Good night.